Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I'm going to continue reading from this book that we're reading every day. Um, Starting with page number 142. Srila Prabhupada once wrote to Professor Stahl, by devotional service, by understanding well the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one can go to his abode and never come back again to this material condition. How is it possible? The answer is simply by chanting his name constantly. This is from the Science of Self Realization, Chapter 3. Have you ever thought of chanting Hare Krishna constantly? Maybe sometimes when reading about it, but then it is forgotten again. Therefore, we should engrave this advice deeply into your memory. The reason why chanting constantly appears so difficult is the lack of taste, as Srila Prabhupada explains. A devotee should be very careful, very much careful, to see whether his time is being spent unnecessarily. He should ask himself, am I now engaged in Maya service or a Krishna service? A very good one. Maya service or Krishna service. This is a symptom of an advanced devotee. Nama, Nama Gane Sadaruchi. Such a devotion is never tired of chanting, singing, or dancing. The word sada means always, and ruchi means taste. A devotee always has a taste for chanting Hare Krishna. Oh, very nice. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is taste. Of course, this taste takes time to awaken. But when Rupa Gopaswami was chanting, he was thinking, I have only one tongue and 2 ears. What can I appreciate of chanting? If I could have millions of tongues and trillions of ears, then I could release something by chanting and hearing. Of course, we should not imitate him, but the devotees of Krishna conscious movement must be at least very careful to complete their 16 rounds, their minimum amount of prescribed chanting. That this is from the teachings of Queen Kunti, chapter 20, I believe from Srimad Bhagavatam. The taste for chanting can be achieved simply by chanting more and more. Once Srila Prabhupada proudly praised his disciples, these devotees, they can chant constantly 24 hours a day. They are completely satisfied with it. Srila Prabhupada liked to see such devotees. Chanting in the morning. Morning is the best time to hold spiritual services. Srila Prabhupada writes, the time shortly before sunrise called Brahma Muhurta is the time for chanting, like what we are doing right now. It is recommended that a devotee rise very early and chant in a peaceful and concentrated atmosphere. If at all possible, the round should be finished before 10 o'clock, 10 a.m. The morning hours are ruled by the mode of goodness, the afternoon and the early evening by the mode of passion, and the night by the mode of ignorance. One should chant his rounds during the time which is under the influence of goodness and avoid chanting later in the day. Otherwise, it will be difficult to concentrate and goes swiftly ahead. If due to sickness one cannot complete his rounds, then the rounds must be finished immediately the very next day. However, one who is well should never go to sleep without having completed his rounds. Chanting at least 16 rounds. As a sannyasi, Lord Chaitanya wanted to travel on his own, free from obligation of caring for another person. Devotees, however, wanted him to accept as a servant, as a companion on his journey. Finally, Sri Nityananda Prabhu convinced him with the following argument. Since your two hands will always be engaged in chanting and counting the holy names, how will you be able to carry the water pot and external garments? From Madhya 7.37. In other words, the Lord needed both his hands for chanting and counting his rounds and was not able to carry anything. Srila Prabhupada explained in the purport to the above verse. From this verse, it is clear that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was chanting the holy names a fixed number of times daily. In addition to other duties, he introduced this system. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to count on his fingers while one hand was engaged in chanting. The other hand kept the number of rounds. This is collaborated in the Chaitanya Charitamrita and also in Srila Rupa Goswami's Swamala. How many rounds should we chant at least? According to Srila Prabhupada, his spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur considered a person as a fallen patita if he did not chant 64 rounds every day. Srila Prabhupada soon realized that his Western disciples were not able to keep up such a high standard and thus mercifully instructed that we chant a minimum of 16 rounds daily. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada is called Patita Pavana, the savior of the fallen souls. Therefore, devotees in this line of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu must chant at least 16 rounds daily, and this is the number of prescribed by International Society of Krishna Consciousness. 16 rounds is about 28,000 times. There is no need to imitate um, Haridasa Thakur, who chanted 300,000 every day, or other Goswamis, but chanting the holy name a fixed number of times daily is essential for every devotee. Srila Prabhupada explains this in several cases. If one cannot complete the fixed number of rounds, he should he should be considered to be in a diseased condition of spiritual life. Everyone should strictly follow the regulations of 16 rounds. If one is busy for other Krishna conscious activities and cannot fulfill the regular routine of chanting, he must compensate it the very next day, curtailing his activities in the matter of sleeping or eating or any other sense gratificative processes. The 16 rounds is the minimum one set of my disciples, so they will chant at least that much. Actually chanting that should always be going. On another occasion, Srila Prabhupada said, the chanting of 16 rounds is absolutely necessary if one wants to remember Krishna and not forget him. Almost all the regulative principles given by the spiritual master is order to chant at least 16 rounds is the most important one. Once in London, a devotee only managed to chant 15 rounds by the late evening and then went to sleep because he was very tired. During the night, he heard the bell ringing. He went downstairs, opened the door, and there was Srila Prabhupada standing before him. Have you chanted your 16 rounds? Srila Prabhupada asked. Before the devotee could answer, he woke up, realized that Srila Prabhupada had appeared in a dream. Immediately, he sat up in his bed and chanted the last round.
Hare Krishna.
I, Hare Krishna. I'll stop this one from here and I'll summarize. Om Agnanda Timrandasta Jnananjala Salakaya Chakshur Militamnena Tasmai Sri Gurave Nama. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to purify my heart. From this one, what I understood is it is important for all of us to do this 16 rounds prescribed by our spiritual guru every day, and um, we have to. This taste doesn't come on day one. For all of us, have to start somewhere. Maybe we personally, I also started with a one round, and as we follow, we are as we once we are in association of devotees association, we get the taste of we like that one to do more, and so we should do minimum 16 rounds. And I feel the same way, like now, and I being in association with this, I do 16 rounds. I started only 6 months ago. The only reason is because of association, and um, I like the example where Srila Prabhupada said at the end, like a devotee who couldn't finish 16 rounds, and he got up in the middle of the night, and because Srila Prabhupada came in the dream, and he got up and he realized it is a dream, and he started chanting. That's a really a good example for us to follow, actually. so something to do. And due to some reason, I think he later explained in the reading, due to some reason a person is sick, he couldn't able to chant. That's the only reason he couldn't able to chant. He could chant the next day. Let's say the person does 12 rounds, he can continue to do 4 rounds the next day. But it's the we should always keep the rounds. There is a reason why it was set, like, if you do this kind of like 16 rounds a day of uh, namasmarana, and if you follow the four principles, you go to Krishna's abode. That was the promise given to us. So we should remember that, and there is no other alternative. Uh, there's nothing important than this. We at some point in one of the readings, I heard even Srila Prabhupada saying it is okay to even to not to sleep, but you have to. If your everything is well, you need to finish your 16 rounds. And this is a very good reading. Thank you once again, Vamsik Gopal Krishna Mahaprabhu, for giving this opportunity to